Greetings! I will admit that I haven't been terribly adventurous on this channel. Most of the matches have come from the south of England. But just for today, that's going to change, because I've just come back from Armenia. It's International Week here in Yerevan. The Armenian national side have just lost to Ireland, and their hopes of qualifying for the World Cup, which were always slim at best, are all but over. This also means that the top division of domestic football is on a brief pause. But lower down, things carry on as normal. So if you've ever wondered what an Armenian second division game looks like, then you've come to the right place. Today we're going to see Mika. No, not that Mika obviously. Mika Yerevan FC versus Araks Ararat. Nestled beneath the mighty Mount Ararat, where it is said that Noah's Ark came to rest after 40 days at sea, is the city of Yerevan, the capital of Armenia. Sadly, Armenia is surrounded by countries who display an open hatred towards them, and this came to the boil in 1914 when 2 million Armenians were slaughtered by the Ottoman Empire. Various wars and earthquakes have crippled Armenia's efforts to keep up with the wealthier nations of the Caucasus. That doesn't stop Yerevan from being a fantastic city. Evidence of its early Christian heritage is everywhere, but perhaps the most famous and stunning site is the Cascade Complex, a vast structure designed to link the upper and lower parts of the city. Designed in the 20s and started in the 70s, this gargantuan architectural marvel still isn't finished. We'll come back later, but we've got a game to catch, so let's get to the ground and meet the teams. Mika Stadium holds 7,000 people, and at the time of construction that wasn't overly optimistic. Mika were once bankrolled by a wealthy Russian company, and in the early 2000s things were looking good, as the team regularly finished near the top of the Armenian Premier Division. In Europe, they locked horns with the likes of MTK Budapest, FC Mainz and Helsingborg. Sadly, financial troubles reared their head in the middle of the following decade, and the club ceased operations in 2016. Mika re-emerged in 2022, but the club is a shadow of its former self. The money and the vast majority of fans have long since disappeared. Araks could tell a similar story. Once known as Cement Ararat, due to its ownership by a cement factory, Araks were once a regular feature in the Armenian Premier League and even won the title in 1998 and 2000. But by that time, the club's president had run out of cash and the club was dissolved. After many years competing in amateur divisions, Araks regained their license to play professional football in 2024. Both teams now play in the Armenian First League, one division below the Premier League. A glance at the table shows that neither team has had a blistering start. At the top, Sardarapat are storming it with 10 wins from 11. Araks are currently 9th and Mika are down in 14th. There is no relegation from this division, so neither team is in any particular peril, but they're not pulling up any trees either. The teams emerged to a crowd so small I could probably count them. In all, I would say there are about 40 spectators. It doesn't help that this game is kicking off at 3:30 on a Thursday, but let's go through the lineups. There won't be many familiar names in either side, and finding any information about them was a task. Mika number 2 Ume and 16 Abayomi both come from Nigeria. Number 11 Bagyan is the current top scorer with 4 goals. Araks number 9 Hakobian is their top scorer, also with 4. Number 11 Ahmed is a pacey winger and possibly the one to watch today. So at 3:30 precisely, and with sun beating down menacingly upon us, the game begins. The pitch would be better suited to growing vegetables than playing football, and this sadly will have a bearing on the quality of the game. One by one, each passing move breaks down before it can really get going, and possession reverts to the other team. The ball rarely escapes the middle third of the pitch. But there's also a lack of quality among the players. Passing is slow and inaccurate, and decision making is generally quite poor. The stadium is completely open. There were no turnstiles and I didn't pay a penny to attend. People from the nearby housing estate drift in and out as they please. After about 20 minutes, the ultras arrive. All 4 of them. The improved atmosphere does little to improve the quality. On 40 minutes, the Araks keeper misjudges a bounce and Mika almost capitalise. Not much else happens. There are brief moments of urgency and the game occasionally builds momentum, but the terrible pitch and an increasingly fussy referee soon put a stop to that. At half-time, and with no more clear-cut chances for either side, it's 0-0. I'm having more fun spotting helicopters. The second half begins, and initially the pace is much more frenetic. Araks finally managed to string enough passes together to muster a proper attack. After some good work from Karen Gazarian, Ahmed meets his cross. (1-0 to Araks). So now there's an increased sense of urgency, but the quality still isn't there. Mika get a free kick in a useful position, and the midfielder passes it straight to the keeper. But a few minutes later, Bagian receives the ball inside the box, and he's brought down. It's a penalty. Bagian himself steps up. By now the sun is unbearable and I've clearly sat on the wrong side of the stadium. Barring the ultras just over to my right, all of the other fans are sat in the shade. Mika continued pressing for a winning goal. On 65 minutes, David Sarksian attempts an audacious overhead kick. Yeah. A few minutes later, Araks get a free kick, and Yuri Magakian attempts an audacious overhead kick. Well, at least he hit it. At 90 minutes, both teams are clearly out of ideas. The referee blows for full time, and the sun, which has mercifully hidden itself behind the massive tower blocks in front of us, casts its rays upon Mount Ararat in the distance. This will not go down as a classic game, but when you paid nothing for it, you can't really complain, can you? So it's back to Yerevan to enjoy the last of the daylight. Armenia is not a footballing giant and probably never will be. The only meaningful player they ever produced, Henrik Mkhitaryan, was a once-in-a-lifetime prodigy. But life goes on. and as we stand at the top of the Cascades, I'll leave you here with this stunning view. Thank you for watching.
Еще бы,